Hello everybody, it has been a while. So you probably haven't seen a video from me in about 6 months, but in reality, I batched about 40 videos in like March of 2019, and I've sort of been just slowly releasing those over time. So in reality, I haven't been in the habit of making videos consistently for over a year now. It's now July of 2020, and my life is almost unrecognizable to how it was, a year ago. So I've been keeping in touch primarily through my email newsletters. So if you would like to sign up for that, sometimes I release them weekly, sometimes I release them more like monthly, but basically whenever I have something significant to say is when I send out an announcement. So if you'd like to receive those, I'll put the link down in the description below. I've also been keeping my Patreon supporters up to date, so I will put my Patreon link down below if you are willing to keep up with me that way. But yeah, so much has happened in the past year. I felt like my life had gone from extremely stagnant to, oh my god, everything happening at once. But I have missed you, and I have been reading every single comment. So those comments on some of my latest videos of what happened to Lucy, is she okay, what happened to her, and Lucy, come back, we miss you. I so appreciate those comments. Thank you so much. But if you would like to see me make videos consistently again, please give this video a like and leave it just a short comment, any word down below, because quite literally the algorithm depends on it. I don't know if I'm going to be shouting out into the void because it's been such a long hiatus now, so please. So I'm just going to ramble off just a small portion of the things that happened in this past year, some good, some bad, starting with, hi, I got engaged. The engagement was good. I don't tend to talk about my boyfriends or my relationships because that is very private. If some of you remember, 10 years ago, I did, show a couple of pictures here and there of my boyfriend at the time. But then after that didn't work out, I'm just like, okay, you know what? If we are not committed, in a marriage or something, I'm not going to show any of the people I'm in a relationship with. I would like to protect their privacy. I don't want to show them on video without their consent because I don't know how it might affect their work, because even though corsets are nothing to be ashamed of per se, corsets can be seen as underwear adjacent, and underwear and lingerie tends to be sex adjacent. And so through that mental gymnastics, a lot of people in my industry have been noticing that ever since the whole Sesta Fosta thing happened, on Facebook and on our social media, all of our audience has been poof. So the algorithms are working against us and we're being censored, essentially. And in the same way that somebody could, I don't know, become a lawyer, but they took pictures of themselves in a bikini and those pictures were leaked online, and it's apparently some a big controversy, and I don't want anybody who is some other sort of professional in my family or somebody I'm in a relationship with to have their career potentially affected by my career. So that's probably too much rambling, but I'll come back to that in a little bit. I kind of want to go semi-chronologically. So basically last year around April, I started looking for a new place. So remember, I stopped making videos in March. April, I was looking to move because those of you who have been watching me since the very, very beginning, you saw me move back from university in 2012-ish, and then I was staying with my family for the last basically 8 years. I'm very close-knit with my parents, but it was time for us to move. The place where we were living was being sold, and my parents said, well, it's about time that we downsize and become empty nesters anyways, and so my brother and I individually looked for other places to live. So we all kind of scattered, and I had to move further north because all the prices were exploding in Toronto. Tons of people were moving north, and then I was north of that, so I moved even further out from the city to basically afford rent because I didn't want to pay 5 times more for a smaller space. But the first place that I put a deposit on in May, I was basically scammed out of $2,000. There was a ton of drama, and I had actually negotiated a slightly lower price to sort of fix up the place. And I'd gone in probably half a dozen times to slowly move my stuff in and to paint. And when I moved one bookcase out of the place, like away from the wall, there was something that looked very suspiciously like blood splatters behind it. I was like literally scrubbing away at it. I realized that every single piece of furniture in that place was broken in some way, and I was taking like picture documentation of everything so that I wouldn't be blamed for it. But when it came time for me to like officially move in and start like living there, I realized that I don't know if you can call it a bait and switch, but there were basically roommates there that I had never agreed on living with. This was not part of the agreement. There was one elderly gentleman and then one guy in his 20s who just stayed in the basement and played video games. Both of them were there completely rent-free. I had no idea what their deal was. But, you know, they had cleaned up the place and sort of left the house when I went to check out the place for the first time. And then I realized that when it came time for me to move in, it reeked of smoke. Everything was dirty and loud. And obviously I can't do my sewing. I can't keep my corsets there or any of my textiles that I use for business. I don't want them getting contaminated with tobacco smoke or other types of smoke. So I was like, it was a nightmare. So I followed my gut. And that was a write-off, but I had given my first and last month deposit. I was not going to get that back. This year, as I was filing my taxes, I was chasing that old landlord to give me a receipt because they never even gave me a receipt at the time. And I was in such a hurry to get out of there that I didn't think to ask for it. And so they probably didn't claim my deposit on their taxes, and they're nowhere to be found. I can't get in touch with them. But I also found out through the grapevine that one of the people in that house died last winter. So I don't know the story behind that, but I'm just really glad that I never ended up living there. It was just super fucking shady, you guys. And then I found another place that was very nicely staged again when I went in, but this time I decided to bring a friend of a friend who had some knowledge in construction so that they could sort of tell me if there was anything wrong, anything I should look out for. And he found signs of mold, signs of multiple flooding, some other issues. He lifted up the countertop and it was not even attached. So he's just like, nope. Don't walk, run. And apparently either the rental industry is just totally garbage now, or I'm just really, really bad at choosing places. But finally, third time's a charm. And I found this place. It's really lovely. It worked out really well. And I'm living with roommates now, and we get along pretty well. They actually don't know what I do for work. They just know that I work from home through e-commerce. That might be another reason why I'm a little bit timid and apprehensive about making videos these days, because they probably don't understand why I'm like standing across the room yelling things to my computer. They probably will think I'm just on the phone or something, but once I moved and finally settled, and my family also found their individual places to land as well, I made the extremely unwise decision to upgrade my Mac from a 32-bit system up to the 64-bit system, and then half of the apps on my computer didn't work, including all of my video recording and editing apps. So that was fun. I could no longer get into the account where I had gotten Final Cut Pro in the first place, and I didn't want to pay another like $400, actually it was over $1,000 for all the apps. And so I tried to sort of figure out how to revert things, and I called on the help of friends. And I actually have to say a huge shout out to the folks at Orchard Corset, because they actually saved my butt. Like, I know that we are supposed to be like business competitors, but anytime the shit hits a fan, they've got my back. And I guess they believe in the work that I do and the videos that I make. So I really have to thank Rachel, the CEO of Orchard Corset, for coming to my rescue like that. And then after that, I was introduced to my fiance's family. And so I got to know my in-laws a bit. And the wedding plans were supposed to progress in a hurry. No particular reason, not pregnant or anything. It's just the way they work. So like the last 6 or 7 months, it was just go, go, go. And this is not a Western style wedding. So I was a little bit out of my element, but I was going with the flow, and there is just so much planning because these weddings go for a week long. And I was, say, waking up at 8 a.m., getting into the city by 10. We were going around, and there was a lot of browsing, a lot of shopping, a lot of negotiating, a lot of learning. And I wouldn't get home until, say, 8 p.m. I might have something to eat, maybe a short nap, and then I would do emails from, say, like 9 to 2 or 3 or 4 a.m. And then I'd wake up at 8 a.m., rinse and repeat. And it was like this for I don't know how many weeks, or like it was until the lockdown happened in March. And having my in-laws understand what I do as a business, e-commerce and education about corsetry, for fashion, for therapeutic use, for even waist training, it was extremely difficult. And my in-laws are nice enough. They're genuinely good people, but they're extremely conservative. You know, you don't expose your knees around them. So imagine me trying to explain to them why it's important and why it's necessary for me to talk about, say, breast support through overbust corsets for people with very large or heavy or pendulous breasts who suffer from back pain or thoracic outlet syndrome. All they see, all they hear is, oh, boobs, and therefore inappropriate and racy and controversial. So some of you have noticed that there was this particular set of videos that I put on unlisted for a few months while the in-laws were getting to know me, and that is the reason why, because I didn't want to cause a lot of controversy and drama, and I wanted them to get to know the real me before, say, just popping online and doing a Google search of me and getting the wrong first impression. But now that has mostly settled down, and also I've gotten to the place where I am not so much a people pleaser. And I realize that the people who matter won't mind, and the people who really mind shouldn't really matter. So thank you, Dr. Seuss, for this life lesson. But then the pandemic hit North America, and everybody and everything went into lockdown. Unfortunately, after getting engaged, my partner was actually transferred to the US for work, where he still is. And even though he's a Canadian citizen, he's under a contract there, and he is not able to return home anytime soon. So we have a very, very close border between us, and we're going to be long distance for God knows how long. I know that a lot of people were off work during the lockdown, but I was not. Actually, I became busier than I have ever been, and the number of emails that were coming in had more than quadrupled, probably quintupled. The reason for this, I figure, is everybody's home. Everybody's bored. Everybody is focusing now on the hobbies that they always wanted to do, but they had always had on the back burner because of work and life and everything. And I'm really excited that people now get to pursue their passions. But I was answering a ton of emails. And yeah, from basically early April, I was pulling like 16-hour days, just sitting in front of my computer, answering emails and doing the occasional newsletter and Patreon post. So I was really excited by this boost in interest. But the flip side of that is, understandably, because so many people were off work and they were financially insecure, everybody was pinching their pennies at the same time and not actually investing in corsets. So the amount of work that I was doing was not proportional to the income coming in. And my loves, I love you guys so much, but there is no way for me to phrase this without sounding like a whiny asshole. But I don't do customer service for any other company. And if you have a problem with that particular company, you need to go to them directly. I cannot do anything about it. Also, if you are looking for a corset to purchase, I do free consultations for only the corsets that I have in my shop. Now, for the past 6 months to a year, I did open up the number of brands that I started distributing. That includes Timeless Trends, a few pieces from Glamorous Corset and True Corset that I personally vetted, and I liked the construction and the springs. Also Rebel Madness, a few overstock pieces from Axfords and Vollers. So I was carrying like 6 different brands at one point. But once again, I only get commission from the purchases made through my site. So if you come to me asking for sizing advice for, say, a Timeless Trends corset or a Rebel Madness corset, I give you my recommendation and I give you a link to my shop. If you just go and buy from those companies directly, I don't see $1 from that. I don't see a penny from that. And that makes things financially difficult for me, especially because I am working so hard and not reaping the benefits of it. So that hurts. There's no other way to say it. And there is nothing like legally binding you from purchasing from my shop, but I do not gouge. I do not like artificially inflate the prices. I've always stuck with the RRP, the recommended retail price for any brand. I've never gone above that. But anyway, there's been some confusion on that front about like whether I have a real shop in the first place or whether it's all a scam. And you can go to Timeless Trends, you can go to Glamorous Corset and True Corset and ask them, am I an authorized distributor of these corsets? And they will tell you that, yes, I am. I am collaborating with them and I'm in regular communication with them. And I'm an independent retailer. I'm not their employee. But if you are taking advantage of somebody's time, please financially support those people that you are taking advantage of. That is my humble request. But yeah, this week, things have actually slowed down for the first time in about 4 months that I had the time to actually sit down after clearing my emails, and it's still daylight outside and I'm able to make a video. So as I've said before, I would love to get back into the habit of making videos again. It might not be every single week at first, but I will definitely be doing these semi-regularly if you will have me. And I have so many corset reviews to catch up on. I have so many different brands of convertible heels as well. Unfortunately, in February, I injured my foot and my big toenail fell off, and it's going to be like at least 9 months to grow it back. So I'm a little bit self-conscious about doing reviews on sandals and open-toed shoes right now because I'm missing a toenail. Maybe I'll put a sticker on it and just pretend that it's my nail. I haven't quite figured that out yet. If you have any ideas about how to make it look like I have a toenail, leave a comment down below. But it's not like I've run out of things to talk about, and it's not like I don't care about you all. It's just been a really chaotic, busy, and like this year has been so unpredictable in many horrible ways and a few good ways as well. So I'm keeping in a place of zen, and I'm trying to just, you know, stay grateful that I still have a roof over my head and I'm still kind of treading water at this point. But if you have any questions for me, if there's anything that you'd like to see, any topics you'd like me to touch on in the future, and feel free to sign up for my newsletter in the downstairs, the description box. That's the word I'm looking for, because my newsletter is always free. It's not like Patreon, but that is quite enough blathering from me. There are a ton of other things that I could have touched on in this video, but I did not for the sake of brevity, which is hilarious because I'm looking at the timer right now. But anyway, I hope you've all been hanging in there, and I hope you've all been doing well and staying afloat. And if you have been following me for the last like 9, almost 10 years, thank you so much for your ongoing support. Leave a comment down below, let me know how you've been doing, and I will see you next time I see you. So take care all. Bye.